Hey, friends, here we are yet again, Andrea and Chris.
Money, sex, and kids.
Yes, and today we're kind of touching on the sex side of things, and not necessarily talking about sex, but talking about communication, and we all know what communication does. If it's good, it means you're going to get sex.
Yes, absolutely.
The finish line, as you call it.
Finish line, yep.
And the only reason why we're talking about it is because, again, we've told you this before, we are not relationship experts. We're not marriage experts.
We're like relationship guinea pigs.
Guinea pigs, right? We do a lot of trial by error. We do a lot of test studies on ourselves. Yeah, like we're like little mice, like in a little lab, and we test things on ourselves. And this was the one thing that we started practicing, or we learned about earlier on in our marriage.
Yep.
And that was the 5 love languages. I'm sure you've heard of it, but if you haven't, it's a book written by a guy named Gary Chapman, and it sold like 11 million copies. I mean, so clearly people buy it because his stuff is gold. But it's common sense. And he even says it's common sense. But how often do we sort of pass up common sense because we try to make things way too complicated?
Absolutely. And so I remember we got this book as a wedding gift. And so I think it was right around our
wedding. Yeah, I think it was right around our wedding.
So when I first thought of the idea of reading this book, I'm like, this is so stupid.
Yeah,
right?
I know how.
I'm a guy.
I
don't care about love languages. This is going to be so stupid. I'm not reading it. It's going to be boring. So I put it off. I thought, I'm not going to read this garbage. Look at me. I figured out this much this far.
I got her.
We
got married.
I don't need some professional telling me, like how to, my wife's love languages. Get real.
Yeah, well, and so what did we do? We our lack of communication was pretty apparent.
I had a friend tell me.
Not long after we got married, and not that because we fought and there was just there was never a big thing. It just was, we were just kind of like, and we could be better. And like we always say, we're just trying to be better people every day.
So I had a friend who I highly respect and look up to, and he was like, oh yeah, my wife and I were kind of, button heads a little bit, and then she made me read this book, The 5 Love Languages, and it was a total game changer. It totally shifted the way I treat her and the way that she responds to me, and I'm like, oh yeah, well yeah, maybe I'll read it, like that sounds, so that's how I got involved in the book. But I can tell guys, this is a book you have to stop what you're doing and read. It's cheating. That's what I call it. It is cheating because it basically opens up and it shows you how to identify what your wife wants you to say or do or behave. Because it's a playbook. Because you don't have to figure it out anymore. It tells you what to do. It's amazing.
And we, as women and wives, we expect them to be mind readers, right? Like they should just know that when they pat us on the butt, like if they don't get a reaction, they should just know why. Well, this tells you why, right? And so, I use that as an example because you'll understand that physical touch isn't like the highest on my chart as far as one of my love languages.
Okay, so what are the 5 love languages?
Okay, so let's go through the 5 love languages, and then there is a test. That's what we'll challenge you at the end of this to take, and then the bigger test is if you want to read the book. Okay, receiving gifts. So for some people, what makes them feel most loved is to receive a gift, to buy something for somebody and to receive that. That's what like turns them on and really makes them feel loved.
Well, okay, keep going.
Okay, second, quality time. This language is all about giving the other person your undivided attention. Okay, so one-on-one time, intentional time, that kind of thing. Words of affirmation. This language uses words to affirm people, okay? Thank you for doing that. You're so lovely. I'm proud of you. Those sorts of things. Acts of service or devotion. For these people, actions speak louder than words. So cleaning the house, doing the laundry, things like that, an act of service. Physical touch is the last one. To this person, nothing speaks more deeply than appropriate touch. Hugging, kissing, intimacy, that sort of thing. So those are the 5 love languages. Then to figure out, and you probably could listen to those and be like, yep, that's me. I like that more than that. But there's an actual test that they put out on their website, and we'll link you to their website so you can see it and take it. It's pretty simple, and it asks a series of questions, and it identifies where you fall within all of these and what you identify with more. So shall we talk about ours?
Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's jump right in.
So mine, no surprise, I ranked the highest for words of affirmation. I like to be told by him, I'm proud of you, you're awesome, you know, you're doing a great job, and those kind of things. And I love it in a text message. I love it when he says it to me. I love it when he writes it to me. That's my thing. Words of affirmation for you, did that rank pretty high on yours?
That did not rank high. So, be honest with you, is I just assume that, you know, like every guy out there thinks that if I load the dishwasher, then I'll be getting some, right? So I would load the dishwasher and clean the kitchen. She would come home and she'd be like, oh, thanks. But she wasn't over the top. And I was just like, what the heck? And so acts of service is like in the middle for you. It's not as high. So remember I told guys it was cheating? So once I figured out, she took this test and I figured out, and I'm like, wow, words of affirmation mean more to her than me cleaning up the kitchen or whatever.
Yep.
Two things popped in my mind. It's way easier to write a letter or a note.
And now I don't have to clean the kitchen.
Yes, and cleaning the kitchen is not that big a deal to her.
No, it's
so
not.
Like I said, it was cheating. So for me, words of affirmation was like I think it was my third.
Yeah.
So my highest one, go figure, was physical touch. But the way that Gary Chapman explains it in his book, it doesn't mean like, you know, every night, like, you know, getting it on, right? That's not what it means. It's talking about like a holding hand in public.
Yes.
A hug. You know, just like before you walk out of the door, kiss me on the cheek or something like that. Apparently, you know, taking this test, and now I think about it, that's what means most to me, right? If Andrea were to go in the garage and reorganize my tool bench, I can give a crap, right? Like, thank you, but really it doesn't do anything for me, right?
No.
Or if she goes and, you know, gets my car washed, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like,
yeah, which I have done before, thinking, oh, this is really going to help him. He's going to like this. And then he just didn't give me the reaction that I was hoping for. And what happens then? Let down, right? My expectations were here for that, and they were let down. But it wasn't his fault, nor was it my fault. I was just looking at as, I think he'll like this, but really it wasn't something that really mattered to him.
Sure.
And so once we knew what things mattered and what ranked higher on those love languages and made him feel loved and honored and adored, then I could shift the way I did things for him and to him.
It just makes the relationship way easier. So your biggest one was words of affirmation.
Yep. Second was quality time.
Quality time. And my second was quality time as well.
So we identify the same with that. And that means, you know, uninterrupted time together. I think some of my most favorite times to feel connected are when we're just alone and it's doing nothing but, you know, maybe sitting on the couch, having a glass of wine, sitting outside. Simple, right?
Very simple.
But just us.
Yes.
Right? And I would say that's the same for you too.
Yeah, for me, it's just maybe watching a show together. And we're not really watching the show, we're sitting there talking with the noise in the background. But I guess the biggest thing for me, what I was thinking about quality time is, it is not with anybody else.
Not
right?
with
Our kids are at the babysitter, mom and dad, or maybe in Papa's house, or maybe asleep, or maybe we're just alone on a date. But it's that quality time. It doesn't matter what we're doing.
Yes.
That's not it at all.
Nope.
It could be literally sitting on an airplane for 5 hours across the country. Just the fact that we got to sit next to each other and just talk, that is the biggest thing.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so third was acts of service. I rank kind of like mid-range, about a 6 for that. And you didn't, what was your number for acts of service?
My number 3 was not acts of service. It went
words of affirmation.
Words of affirmation.
Yeah.
Then it went acts of service.
Yeah.
And like I said, for me, like, you could do those nice things, and I know that I need to show words of affirmation for doing those things.
When
really,
I do them.
It's not a huge deal for me,
Yeah.
right? Like,
So, point made, I just don't take his car to get it washed very often. I never mow the lawn because those things he doesn't care about.
But if she were to do it, I would use my words of affirmation and say, I am so
and it would make me
you.
feel amazing.
You're amazing. Yeah. So it's cheating, like I told you. It is literally cheating.
It's a handbook. It's a wife handbook. It's a husband handbook. And physical touch, I was at about a 5. And
which sucks.
He wished my physical touch was a 10.
Or a 20.
That's not even possible.
That was disappointing for me.
But let's lay it out there. You give me words of affirmation, which is a 10 on my list.
Yep.
Then your finish line, I bolt across that. You get to cross the finish line.
Yes, because it's cheating.
So you see how they're all connected?
Yes.
So then you get what you want and need.
Yep.
Okay.
I agree.
So what do you just tell me? Tell me the good stuff. Fill my mind with the good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, and lastly, it's funny because receiving gifts is a big fat 0 on my list, and it was on yours too. It's the very bottom.
So
gifts don't do it for me.
But for some people they do, and that's not a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing. It's totally, and he writes about that because I think a lot of people automatically associate that as kind of negative or.
Oh, you're materialistic or something like that. That's not what it's talking about.
No. It's the fact that your mind thinks different, right? So somebody, your spouse, got you this gift, went and picked. It's the fact that he thought about it. He went to the store and you were on his mind the entire time. You had talked about, wanting or needing something for the house or for yourself. And then he actively went out, got it. So he thought it was so thoughtful. It was the thought behind it really is what made it matter most. So that's why receiving the gift means so much, because his thought behind it was so great.
So I know that in the past, before reading this book and understanding the love languages, taking the test, like you all are going to do after this video.
Yeah.
I remember, like, you see on TV and you hear from people like women like flowers. So I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So my thing is, I think if I just bring her flowers, everything's gonna be great. So I go to the store, I bring her flowers, and I'm like, here you go, and she's like, oh. Flowers.
I didn't do that.
And I'm like, what the heck?
That's exaggerating.
You're supposed to be doing cartwheels for these flowers, and
No.
you're just like, oh, great,
Well, so flowers aren't it's a gift. It's not really that exciting.
Yeah.
For me. But it doesn't mean that that's bad. It might be exciting for you. Yeah. And me, I'm like, you just spent $25 on them. Why? You should have just spent $25 to take me to have an experience together, like, dinner out together or something. But again, he didn't know. So again, here we are, ladies. Here I am faulting him for something he doesn't know, but I expect him to know. So how is he ever going to know unless we talk about it, right? Unless we communicate. So my biggest fault that I have is I sometimes have these expectations in my head for him, and not that he can't meet them. He doesn't even know what the heck they are. So how is that even fair, right?
It's terrible. I'm like, what the heck do you want? I don't know what you want.
You need to know what I want, and this is how you're going to know what we want. Okay? You're going to take the test. You're going to see how you score. You're going to see how your spouse scores, and then I guarantee your mind will be blown, because I bet you at least one of those things you're doing and your spouse doesn't even love that. Like, it doesn't even rank high on the list. So you're wondering why you're not getting anything from it, whether it be, just love and the appreciation that you expected, because they don't really care about those things.
So let me ask you this then. So I know you watching, right? You're here. You're definitely going to click on the link and go take that test. But what about your spouse who's not watching with you? Or what about, like, who is like me that's like, I'm not taking that. That's stupid. I'm not doing it. How do you get them to take it is my big question.
Well, I think that
I could think that it's mostly, not all, but mostly it's going to be the guys that don't want to take it.
Yeah.
Because it's like pink and fluffy and girly, right?
Well, it's not. The test isn't pink, fluffy, and girly.
The book is like pink.
Okay, but it's not.
Here's what I would recommend.
Okay.
Women,
we're going to take it like that. Like, we just want to know.
I just want to know. But if your spouse is like, you know them, you're like, I'm not going to do that. That's terrible. Then you gotta kind of look at, what does my husband or my wife, what do they really like? What do they like that I don't like?
Yeah.
And you need to say or do, look, I want you to take this test. I know you think it's stupid. And since you think it's stupid, I know that I think this is stupid, and I want to do this for you. Fill in the blank.
Okay. So we make a little deal.
Yeah, you make a deal, because I promise, as a guy, once I took that, I remember thinking to myself, like, oh my gosh, I just got a cheat sheet of my wife. This is amazing.
Yeah.
But I had to get over that hump of actually sitting down, and it takes, I would say, 4 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, it's easy.
It's so easy.
So let's make a deal, right? Let's make a deal with your spouse. Take the test, and if you want to go a step further, read the book. And see what it does for you. If you have read the book and you know your love languages and you have utilized this early on in your marriage and it like changed the game, let us know. I want to hear about it. I want to hear what you were doing that you thought was working and that you thought your spouse liked, and realized quickly after you took the test, like, no, I was doing it all wrong. I flipped it, upside down, inside out, wrong way. And share it with us, because we'd love to see it. We will put the link for the test in the notes, and we would just love for you to join us and try it. And again, right, like, it can't hurt to want to try to do something that would make you a better spouse.
Yep, absolutely. And guys, we're working our butts off to put the absolute best content out there.
Yeah.
Like, we don't just throw this together. Andrea does a lot of research on it. We go back and forth on, are we going to air this? Are we going to not air this? It would mean the world to both of us if you wouldn't mind sharing this on your social media. So if you're on Instagram or on wherever you're at, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, share this, let other people know about it, because we really feel that there is this movement out there where people want to get better inside their homes as far as the money, the sex, and the kids.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
And you're not alone. There's other people out there. They just haven't found the show yet. So it would mean the world to us if you guys wouldn't mind just taking a second and copying this link and sharing it off.
And we are thankful that you choose to spend time with us. We're thankful that you choose to be a part of the community we're trying to cultivate, because again, we all are going through this together, and it's kind of fun to have people that you can live life with.
You are so beautiful. You are so smart. You are amazing.
I know.
You're a great mom.
Yeah, you just want to cross the finish line.
You are.